Well, guys, since it's that time of the year again, I thought I would go ahead and do everyone a quick favor and introduce you to a kick-ass tax reporting software called Coinledger. Now, look, honestly, it kind of does shock me at how many people filter their taxes because it literally is just as important as buying the assets themselves. Take my word on that for sure. But I think many of us kind of just simply think it's easy enough to assume you're under the protection of the, pseudonymous crypto algorithms and kind of just not opt to do them at all. And while I guess that's kind of somewhat correct, what many people don't realize is that governments are actually increasingly becoming more and more knowledgeable on locating your crypto wallets through on-chain analysis. So in my personal opinion, it's best you play it by the book and stay as compliant as possible. After all, you can't spend all that lovely crypto money behind bars anyway. And look, I know it is a scary time because no one wants to admit that they've kind of lost money or have to pay taxes or any more taxes to the tax man. But trust me when I say it'll make you more aware of what not to do in future. And I can say that based on my personal experiences. But look, if you are a little bit perplexed when it does come to navigating your way through all your wallets or just simply generating a tax return, I don't want you guys to worry because I plan to make sure that after this video, you'll be well informed to tackle this issue, of course, with the help of Coinledger. And of course, before we start, I would like to thank Coinledger for sponsoring this video. And although this kind of is a sponsored video, I would like to say for the record, I actually do use Coinledger for my own tax reports. So I'm super grateful that they're actually able to reach out to me and support the channel because, of course, as you guys know, I'm trying to do this full time. Now, let's get started. So Coinledger is my go-to essentially because it allows people to aggregate their crypto portfolios from essentially any and every wallet or exchange into one single place, completely free of charge until you obviously want to generate the report to give to your obviously tax man. So it's essentially a software I use because spending as much time as I do in crypto land does require a platform that is capable of aggregating all my profits, losses, transfers, interactions, and so on and so forth in one simple and easy interface. Otherwise, I probably honestly wouldn't want to do my taxes either. But besides the obvious reasons you need to do your taxes, it's also a great way to help you understand that, hey, I'm getting taxed on transfers that I thought I wasn't, so I guess I'll be maybe a little more careful in future. So it has a bit of that aspect to it as well. Now, not only that, but the platform is also awesome because it actually allows users from anywhere around the globe to use a platform and generate reports for their specific tax laws, taking the absolute frustration and guesswork out of tax season. All right, look, enough of the chit chat. If you're still with me, click the link in the description and sign up and follow me through the steps so that you too can be a hell of a lot less stressed this tax season. First of all, what I would highly recommend is you do what I do and actually record as many of the exchanges and wallets you can remember into a Google Sheets. Now, the good thing about Google Sheets is that they're free and they obviously come with every single Google account, but kind of the main reason why I like to use them is because they're super handy for the next step. But first, if you need a little prompting on what to account for, you should be recording all non-custodial wallets like Ledger, staking platforms, or native wallets from your favorite cryptocurrencies, like the Daedalus wallet for, Cardano, for example, MetaMask, or Solflare, and custodial wallets that include exchanges such as Binance, Coinbase, KuCoin, Gate.io, and of course, lots more. But to sum it all up, guys, literally just anything you can store your coins on, you should add to the Google Sheet just to be safe. Now from here, the next step consists of the following three things. Now the first is that for most non-custodial wallets, which is a wallet like MetaMask or Solflare, Coinledger only needs your public address, which is super simple. And yes, that does include addresses for different accounts. Now you should copy and paste these addresses into the Google Sheet beside each wallet so that they are obviously easily identifiable when it does come time to import them later on. And the second is that most custodial exchanges work a little differently to non-custodial wallets and require a bit more steps to actually complete, but don't worry, I'm going to give you guys an example at the very end. And the third actually applies to some custodial and non-custodial wallets that only allow you to export all your transactions via a CSV file. Now, for those of you who just are a bit unfamiliar with what a CSV file is, it's simply a file that extracts a whole bunch of data onto a plain sheet of paper that makes all your transactions readable for Coinledger. So with that Google Sheet now filled in, let's jump into the interface and actually begin importing. Okay, so once you're signed in, you'll be presented with this page here. Now, all you'll want to do is press import transactions and then add account. Now from here, you'll then be able to locate any custodial or non-custodial account you so wish. However, I do suggest you guys starting off nice and easy and importing your MetaMask accounts or equivalent non-custodial wallets, of course, first. From here, you'll then want to press Sync Wallet. And remember, make sure you add in separate accounts, even if they are located on the same wallet, as you can see me doing here. Also, one thing to remember is that if you've ever used more than an Ethereum blockchain in your wallet, like for example, the Avalanche C chain or the Binance Smart Chain, for example, in MetaMask, ensure you press the add button after you have pasted the first address so that you can, of course, add them all in one go, just to make your life so much more simple. Once you have added all the accounts from all the networks on your MetaMask wallet, press Sync Transactions. Now, depending on who you are and how many transactions you've done, this may take a few minutes. I mean, it's taken me up to 10 minutes sometimes. So if that's the case, you don't have to wait for it to be loaded in to continue adding wallets, which I would highly suggest you do to save a bit of time. However, for the purpose of this video, I want to show you some examples of the next step so that if you come across the same issues, you'll know what they mean. So if we go ahead and press step 2, aka review, you'll be able to see all the transactions relating to your imported MetaMask accounts. Now here, you'll be able to press into each one and observe all the information relating to that particular transaction, including whether it's non-taxable or taxable, which is pretty cool. What Coinledger has essentially done here is extracted the data from the blockchains in question and presented you with the info in an easy to read format, determining whether any gains or losses occurred at the same time. The reason I'm actually showing you guys this now is because if we hover over the yellow warning sign on one of these transactions, you'll notice that it's missing so-called cost basis, meaning Coinledger is missing the transactions that led up to this transaction, thus providing inaccurate tax results. So if you see this, the chances are that you're actually missing a wallet or need to tell Coinledger where you received or withdrew that asset. If you see this after adding every single wallet you can imagine, try pressing the 3 dots at the top right of the transaction, then press Edit Transaction, and modify the classification to what you believe the transaction actually was. But moving on now, it's time to import addresses from each of the other non-custodial wallets you actually have. Now, to do so, go back into step 1, which is import, and press the add account at the bottom left of your screen. So let's now assume that you're, of course, trying to add another non-custodial wallet, but it's not showing up. All you need to do is simply press manual and then upload file. The same can be said for custodial wallets, like smaller exchanges that are not currently listed on Coinledger, for example. It's actually super important that you ensure the wallet is not listed first, as uploading a CSV that is from a listed wallet just simply won't allow you to upload the file, and it just won't work. I think it's also very important to note that this may mean downloading monthly or quarterly CSV files in batches, kind of like your bank statements. It just all depends on the platform that you're downloading the information from. So for our example, let's use the CSV import from Coinbase. Now, kind of considering Coinbase is already listed on Coinledger, I'll show you the error that shows when you kind of attempt to upload it under a manual wallet first. So as you can obviously see, it just doesn't work. But now if we head back into the add account list and search for Coinbase, then proceed the same steps and press CSV, the upload will work and Coinledger will now be able to match up most of the transactions from the MetaMask wallet, clearing all of those errors. So if we quickly sneak over to the so-called review, you'll notice as we scroll down that all but one of the cost basis errors are now showing, which means that the program was able to match them up with the Coinbase transactions. So that's almost all sweet. So for the final example now, this is going to require just a few extra steps. We're also going to be using Coinbase again, but this time it's actually Coinbase Pro. And rather than using a CSV file to upload the transactions, we're going to give Coinledger read-only access to our wallet via an API. Now, for those who don't know, APIs aren't really that hard to explain. It just means Coinledger can access our wallet and its history via a direct and secure link with permissions that we can actually adjust. So that's kind of why it's super important you ensure that this is read-only access and follow my steps very carefully. So here's how it's done. The first thing you'll have to do is ensure that you can find the API setting on your profile. You'll then need to go and create a new API key and name it whatever kind of you really wish. Now for this example, we're just going to keep it nice and simple and call it Coinbase Pro Tax. Now, this is kind of the most important part, so ensure that you have view-only access enabled, which is sometimes seen as read-only on other exchanges like Binance. So from here, guys, you'll need to copy and create a passphrase to ensure that the API is secure. From there, copy the passphrase and reopen Coinledger to select the Coinbase Pro account listing. From here, paste the API passphrase in, complete the two-factor authentication, and just like that, you'll have your very own API secret. Now, it is very important to copy this secret and paste it into Coinledger in the API secret box only. And from there, all that's left to do is press done, then find your API key and copy it back into the select field in Coinledger. So after pressing sync transactions, wait until all your transactions have been imported, or again, you can just continue adding more wallets as you so wish. However, just a friendly reminder, you absolutely need to ensure that the only permission we are granting here is a view or read-only access. Absolutely nothing else should be ticked, and if it is, you need to uncheck it immediately. And you'll also kind of notice a wider array of permissions for Binance in just a second, so pay attention to how read-only access is only allowed. Now, I'd suggest you guys use this method for Binance, Coinbase, KuCoin, and pretty much any other exchange that allows you to share your API keys, because it just beats out CSV files. And whenever you make a transaction on those accounts, it's automatically recorded into Coinledger for next year, meaning you're pretty much already 99% of the way there. Okay, so with all that said, let's check step 2, review one more time, and assess if everything is where it needs to be. And as you can see from the To Review tab, we still have one transaction in question. So it actually turns out that the same transaction has the missing cost basis issue. So this would be the time where I would kind of look back and think long and hard about other wallets I may have, or whether the funds were gifted from a friend, you know, such as used for a payment for work I had done, or used in a swap, or even an airdrop. But either way, I need to tell Coinledger how I acquired those funds, or what that transaction was specifically for. Otherwise, pretty much the point in blank situation is, if we press the warning signal, this may impact my report by a total of $671.94, which of course is not ideal. I don't want to pay more money than I actually have to. So it is very important to note that Coinledger is not dumb, and it will actually prevent you from incorrectly classifying the transaction to dodge tax, which may put you in potential danger if your reports were ever investigated, which is a feature I really like. And from using other software as well, I can tell you they don't use it. So I really respect Coinledger for actually adding this in here. So let's just say all my accounts were correctly loaded in, and I remember that this was a simple trade I'd undertaken to purchase, let's just say, some Ethereum. Now, to edit this transaction, we need to press the 3 dots at the top left corner, then press Edit Transaction, and find what classification it deserves. So just for this example, we're going to say that it's also a trade. But on the other hand, if I try to classify it as an airdrop, it just simply wouldn't let us save it again. So again, I love this feature. Okay guys, so let's just ensure it's classified as a trade and finalize it by hitting save. But actually, one thing you'll notice is that on my screen, it's still going to come up with an error, which is actually fine. This is only occurring because the demo I am showing you doesn't actually account for the transaction. Otherwise, it just would have simply disappeared. Now, from here, it's time to press 3 tax reports, which will actually generate our tax report for the financial year. Now, the really great thing about all this is that it's actually going to automatically generate the report depending on what region you're in. So for me, for example, over here in Australia, it's July 1 to June 30. And also it allows you to add your accountant at the top right hand of the screen, so you can share the report without ever having to fiddle around with additional emails and downloading documents. So if you've done this before, you know how good that feature is. Now, if you press on the top right corner of the screen, you'll actually also be able to backtrack and download reports from the previous financial years and scroll all the way down to assess how much you owe in capital gains and much, much more. From here, to download the tax reports, it's actually super simple. All you need to do is just simply press the CSV reports under the tax reports downloads and then press upgrade to unlock. Now, it's here where you'll be required to obviously pay for the reports, which is only about $100 and quite affordable if you actually ask me. If you're someone who also thinks that they need a little help with their reports And let's face it, if you're like me and have thousands and thousands of transactions with hundreds that are missing the cost basis, paying for an expert might be the best option for you. And to do so, click the box that says Expert Review Service and entering in your card details. You'll be able to obviously hire an expert to give you a helping hand through the entire process. So I hope this has been super helpful for you guys. I know tax season is an extremely daunting time for everyone. However, I kind of deem it to be a necessary step in not only covering your ass, covering my ass, but also ensuring you stop with the pointless transactions that are destroying your total profits, because trust me, I have stopped doing that simply because I can view all my actual taxes and seeing how much potential profit I'm diminishing based off stupid transfers. So with that being said, guys, thank you all so much for your support. It does mean so much. And of course, all Coinledger links will be down below. And thank you, Coinledger, for supporting this video and supporting the channel. It does mean so much. For now, guys, take care. Talk to you soon. Bye.